All right, we're going to get started. First, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today, and I'd like to thank my colleagues that are here standing with me on this very important issue. Thank you all for being here. If I got into naming each and every one of them, I would be past my time limit. So I also want to thank some of the groups here, and if I miss anybody, please speak up. Bill O'Brien from Blocks in Philadelphia is here. The Children's Scholarship Fund is here. The ACS Children's Tuition Fund is here. The Neighborhood Academy of Pittsburgh is here. And there are others who I did miss, so please just speak up.
Don't speak.
Great. Again, thank you for being here. We all know we're on day 147 without a budget. There are a lot of different agencies that are hurting, that provide human services to our most vulnerable citizens. School districts are feeling the pain across Pennsylvania, and funding has not been distributed to non-public schools to order their school books. We are here today because we know those issues require a budget to make that pain go away. But we're also here today to stop further pain to both public and non-public schools. We are here to ask, actually, we're here to plead with the governor to direct DCED to immediately release donor letters for EITC and OSTC. Because if they do not make their donations before the end of the year, the pain that public and non-public schools are feeling now will be tenfold. These funds go to organizations such as Blocks in Philadelphia, Bridge, Reach, and other scholarship funds all across the Commonwealth for students in non-public schools to receive scholarships, and for public schools to receive a benefit of different programs that they don't already offer through EIO programs. Here's the reality, folks. If these letters do not go out next week, we will potentially lose $150 million that funds the poorest families and other families who just need extra help to keep their children in the right schools for their own needs. Here's some facts. Poor students in the Catholic schools of the Philadelphia Archdiocese, including the private Catholic schools, is over 10,300 students. Every one of these students is a direct benefactor of EITC and OSTC. In 2012, the Archdiocese was going to close 4 high schools, including Bonner and Prendy in my own district, Conwell Egan in Bucks County, St. Hubert's and West Catholic in Philadelphia, and approximately 20 grade schools throughout the Archdiocese. Today, Bonner and Prendy is still open and receives $602,511 in EITC scholarships annually. Conwell Egan, $341,000. St. Hubert's, $170,000. West Catholic, just shy, within $10,000 of $1 million a year. These schools cannot take a hit like this. When the Archbishop agreed to keep these schools open under the Faith in the Future umbrella, EITC and OST funding was a major part of the decision. Without it, these schools would have closed. I'm not pulling any punches. I was in the middle of the negotiations with a man named Brian O'Neill, Ed Hanway, the Archbishop's team, and the leaders from those schools. If this funding does not happen this year, we will lose schools at the end of the school year, and on the grade school level, we could possibly lose schools in January. It's right here on the board with the Archbishop's statement. And I'll read a little bit. In the case of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, this immediately builds pressure for school closures as early as next year because EITC and OST scholarships are vital to parents' ability to afford their children's education. This will not only devastate our Catholic community, it'll have a ripple effect across Pennsylvania. In the Archdiocese of Philadelphia system alone, again, including the private schools, families who need it most receive over $20 million in these scholarships. The impact on public schools will also be devastating. More students will be placed in already crowded classrooms. And where will the funding come for these students? I spoke at length with the new mayor of Philadelphia this weekend about this very issue, and he's very concerned. He has plans for improving and expanding education in Philadelphia. If this happens, that will be out the window. He will need to figure out how to provide funding for thousands, that's right, thousands of new students who will be enrolling in the Philadelphia School District. In my own school district, we have approximately 3,900 students in our high school, Upper Darby High School. The impact of losing these funds could easily add 300 to 400 students to an already large high school in Pennsylvania. The governor has the authority to allow these letters to go out and allow these businesses to make their donations. The same way he has the authority to collect taxes from these same businesses and every person in Pennsylvania. Please, Governor Wolf, send these letters out before it's too late. Now I'd like to introduce my colleague from Beaver County, Jim Christiana.
Good morning. I first want to thank Representative Santora for his leadership in calling this very important press conference. As a new member, pleading with a governor of the opposing party, I think is a difficult task, and I think it's also very difficult for any member to have to go home and say that we don't have a state budget. It is our obligation to get a budget passed, and I think we all understand that obligation. And I think all of us up here have tried multiple ways to ensure a long-term budget solution is in place. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten to a long-term budget solution. And I think this is just another indication that we need a short-term solution. For the EITC, OSTC recipients, there's an easy solution. It was structured in a way that does not require a full budget to be in place in order to send those authorization letters. I think Jamie and the chairman of the Education Committee in recent days has been very clear with the administration that they have the authority to drive these letters out and to do it in a legal manner. Just yesterday, the governor, though, was asked about this topic, and he said, quote, "I don't know that I have the authority to unilaterally do that. Think it has to come from the budget." Governor, I'm asking you to read the bill that authorizes these programs, because that's not the case. This was structured in a way to prevent this situation. And while I'm thankful that the governor is acknowledging that there are limits on the executive branch's authority, I'm suspect of the timing. This governor has not been shy about pushing the envelope of the executive branch's authority. And while the Democratic caucus has been given a loan by the treasurer, loans for public school districts have been denied. And the point is that we need a short-term solution to stop inflicting pain on those who are affected by the process but don't have the authority to resolve the process. There is no reason that we should be taking hostages 2 days before Thanksgiving because we can't reach a long-term budget solution. And so I asked the governor to please meet with his departments and revisit his authority on this very issue. Because contrary to what he said yesterday, he does have the authority to do this. We structured it in a way, the legislative intent was to allow these recipients to get their award letters and to not be taken hostage throughout the budget process. This has an effect on a tremendous amount of students from Beaver County to Philadelphia. And there is no reason that we have to do this because there is a solution that is easily in place. And I want to thank Jamie again for asking me to be a part of this and his leadership in a time that is creating a lot of anxiety for our folks all across the state. So thank you, Jamie.
Next, I'd like to introduce my colleague from Bucks County, Marguerite Quinn.
Thank you, Representative Santora, and thanks everyone for being here. You just heard it, from Beaver County to Delaware County. This is not something that's specific to one region, but nor is it specific to a Republican child or a Democrat child or any other child. This is specific to all of the children throughout the Commonwealth and many other agencies. We talk about the Catholic schools and the wonderful work they're doing. The ripple effect, the huge waves that this will have on public schools throughout the region cannot be overstated. But we also have the Educational Improvement Tax Credit. The program has a whole other component that's just been touched on, the Education Improvement Organization, through which hundreds and hundreds of nonprofits throughout the Commonwealth receive funding. These nonprofits affect our educational foundations, museums, veterans events, prevention groups, community television, conservancies, animal rescue, you name it. Years ago, the legislature set up a program by which we were able to have, through the generosity of local business people, support local organizations. I brought with you today the executive director of Central Bucks Cares Educational Foundation, one of the hundreds of organizations that realized last week, this budget impasse is affecting us. And when Kimberly Camber, the executive director, said to me, what can we do? I said, Kimberly, this is not dependent on the budget. As we just heard, there is language in the tax code that's shall language, not may, and it's independent of the budget. So Kimberly, I welcome you, and please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Kimberly Camber. I'm the Executive Director of CB Cares Educational Foundation, and we have been providing programs to the Central Bucks community, which in and of itself is the largest suburban school district in Pennsylvania. I myself oversee the organization. I have 2 part-time associates, and it is a very tremendous ratio of 10,000 students to 1 executive director, but we do it, and we've done it consistently since its inception of the EITC tax credit. We've had the benefit of funds that have allowed us to put forth programs into the community that not only complement, enhance soft skill sets, have a dynamic of the 40 assets which really give kids the framework to be resilient and all of the qualities that we need our children to have. But I also stand here as a nonprofit professional concerned about the colleagues and the other organizations that touch and make the village of what we call Doylestown our village, because it takes a village to raise our children. And I ask you, Governor Wolf, if you have the capacity to allow these funds, these approval letters that our partners need, by all means, I implore you today to do that, because if you don't, the departure of this unexpected fund for us will erode communities across the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Next, I want to introduce Matt O'Reilly from Allied Cable and Wire, I believe. And Matt's company are donors and recipients of the tax credits.
Thanks, Jamie. My name's Matt O'Reilly. I'm the CFO of Allied Wire and Cable. We're a value-added distributor based in Collegeville, PA, Montgomery County. I'm very fortunate to work for an ownership team that believes in giving back in the community. They're a family-run business. We're an S corporation. And we give back in many ways through Make-A-Wish Foundation, scholarships for our children of the people that work at Allied. But one of the significant pillars which we give back to the community is through our $250,000 contribution a year. Our next contribution will put us $1 million that we've given to Block's organization with the great work that they do. As part of my job as CFO of the company is to make sure the money's put to good use. They do a tremendous job. Same could be said for a lot of the institutions here today. I've seen it firsthand, the work that they do. We not only give the Catholic schools, we give to independent schools like the Jesu in the heart of North Philadelphia at 17th and Girard. We visited with the principal there, the teachers, and can see the tremendous amount of work, good work that they do, and quite frankly, the alternative that these kids have if they don't go to a school like the JZU. So I'm here to support the good work of the Box organization and the rest of the institutions here today, and ask Governor Wolf to release the approval letters. Thank you.
And finally, I'd like to introduce my colleague from York County and the chairman of the Education Committee, Stan Saylor.
Very privileged to be here with Jamie today. Representative Santora has touched on a number of issues along with Representative Christian and everybody else, and I just want to reiterate a couple points. So I think it's really critical that people understand that what the governor is failing to do in a way that we have provided in the law that these tax credits can go out today, and it should have gone out a long time ago, is the law is very clear on that. And in my letters to the Secretary Davin, who's the Secretary of Community and Economic Development, is that what you have done and what the governor has done is hurt the poorest of the poorest children in our schools. Those who need these dollars the most are the ones who are getting hurt. This situation of blackmail is getting out of hand when you are hurting individual children. It's appalling that children who need the preschool, children who are in public schools, $30 million goes to our public schools in this Commonwealth. This isn't just about Catholic schools or private schools or charter schools. And by the way, the governor's wife served as a board of directors member on a charter school in York County. So he, of all people, should be fully aware of the impact of his decisions are having on the education of our poorest children and those in need. And while you may see a lot of Republican colleagues on this stage today, I will tell you that most of the children that get help by these programs are sitting in Democratic House and Senate seats, not just in Republican seats. Most of the children are sitting. So this isn't a Republican-Democratic issue. This is about us wanting to help children and helping them get the education they need. So again, I call on the governor. It's very clear. Our lawyers and counsel have made it very clear how the law is written. Governor, quit holding our children hostage. Release these dollars. Think about this. If you're a company that donates millions of dollars to this program, and you're constantly finding harassment and delays in getting your tax credits, are you going to want to continue giving dollars to this program? Some corporations will decide they will be better off just giving this money to another program, a program that isn't going to benefit our children. It could be any other program that they can take a tax write-off. So let's be honest about this. This could be a major loss to our schools and our children in this Commonwealth for years to come. This program has been growing every year and helping more and more children of need in this Commonwealth. This program was set up to help the poorest and those in the most need. We do not need to have a major setback to our education system by a governor refusing to do what the law is very clear about, and that is issue these tax credits so that our children can continue going to school and then get the programs that they need to succeed. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank everybody for being here today, and as Chairman Saylor said, this is a bipartisan issue. This affects everyone. I was meeting with other members in the Democratic caucus talking about this issue, and they understand the urgency as well. We're going to wrap it up at this point if anybody has any questions. Great. Thank you all for being here.